Move to accept.
Second.
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, first item I have is our annual rental agreement with Norit Activated Carbon to rent a activated carbon dosing system for taste and odor issues we have seasonally. Hopefully this will be the last year we have to do that. So we're moving forward on our project to eliminate the need for this. Staff recommends approval of this rental agreement for a total of $27,800.
Move to consent.
Second.
The second item we have is a contract with Blue Water Engineering for some stormwater improvements on our utility campus. We've been there a little over 10 years now, and some water flow's been redirected from High Meadows Drive. That's causing us some maintenance issues in our stormwater ponds, and we want to get those corrected. So we're going to get with Blue Water and have them do a design to do the calculations and correct those issues, and staff recommends approval of this proposal for $35,200. Yes, sir. There's 3 ponds. I don't think it'll be any additional space. It's just rearranging how we handle the stormwater.
Move to consent.
Second.
The last item we have this morning is a project to replace 300 feet of sanitary sewer main and reconnect all the sewer services between 4526 and 4536 Hillside Drive into Eviston subdivision. We have some areas of this line that was installed very flat years ago, and we've started bellying in places, and it's just causing some backups and clogs in the line, so we want to get this fixed for the subdivision, and we've taken 3 quotes, and the lowest is with D-Hair for $87,852.25, and staff recommends approval of this contract.
Move to consent.
Second.
All my items.
Morning.
Come on, Kyle.
The first item we have for you is a construction contract with Southeast Pipe Survey, construction company, for the 2022 stormwater rehabilitation projects. This is to UV line 2,334 feet of existing storm drain corrugated pipes throughout the county that they've just corroded and need to be lined. The total amount of the contract is $769,022. Staff recommends approval. Funded out of the 1722 SPOST.
We're running up, it seems, on just a lifespan of these pipes. And we'll
50 years is the most you get out of any type of metal pipe.
What's the timeline on this? Once it's signed, and how long will it take them to do it?
180 calendar days is what the contractor's scheduled.
So we'll have additional projects just.
Absolutely.
On top of
Yes, sir. Yep, this is out of the 1722 SPOST, so.
Move to consent.
Second.
The next item we have for your consideration is a construction contract with Augusta Quality LLC for the landscape and Gateway Boulevard median areas. When this project was originally let for construction, the landscaping was pulled out to keep the project within budget, at the original budget. But since the project has been completed, the construction of the project has been completed, those median areas are simply grassed. So this is to actually landscape, kind of beautify that corridor. There's just under $350,000 remaining in that, the original GEO bond line item for that project. Staff put together a landscaping plan, invited several contractors to bid on it. The lowest, most qualified contractor was Augusta Quality LLC. They came in over our $350,000 we had remaining. Staff worked with them, reduced some quantities of some items, and were able to get them down to $309,492.87. Staff recommends approval into entering contract with Augusta Quality LLC.
Over.
$349,800. They'll move back into the geo bond, 17 geo bond. I think it's 17.
Move to consent?
Second.
The next item we have is a construction contract with Southern Asphalt for the paving of Gramod Farms Phase 1. As you all know, the contractor's currently out there, the developer's currently out there with the contractor building Gramod Farms Phase 2. That road's been beat up pretty good. I believe last month or the month prior, the board approved a contract with Gary Construction to full depth for FDR, full depth reclamation of the existing roadway. Now that the road has been FDR'd, it needs to be resurfaced. Staff reached out to 3 contractors to get quotes for resurfacing. Southern Asphalt was the lowest, most qualified bidder at $55,335. This would be paid out of TIA discretionary days to resurface from the notice. Staff recommends approval. Correct. So Southern Asphalt, one reason that they were the lowest was because they're already out there doing Gramod Farms Phase 2, so they don't have the mobilization fees everyone else does. So they're going to start in Section 2 and pave out. It'll look brand new when they're done.
Nice. To consent. And would whenever the time is right, just get an update on the paving, that Phase 2, or all that stuff?
We'll get you that, absolutely. Next Tuesday, we're gonna show y'all some data on.
Move to consent?
Second.
This next item is acceptance of improvements at Tillery Park, Section 1A. This is for acceptance of the road, storm drainage, water, sanitary sewer, and detention ponds. Very similar to most acceptance of improvements for similar subdivisions. However, this one's a little different. This also includes the acceptance of an easement agreement. So basically, staff has come into issues to where when we accept the roadway that has a planted median, the planted median section of the roadway, ways and stuff, are still owned by the developer and then the HOA. This causes problems when they come in and landscape that median with irrigation because it ends up tearing up our roads, et cetera. So what we've done, Mr. Slaughter's worked closely with staff and the development community on this, but what we've done is with this agreement, we're accepting all of the right-of-way, including the landscape medians, and we are basically executing an easement encroachment agreement with the developer so they have access to the islands, but we own them, so we control what happens in those islands. That's correct. That's correct. But we still have access if of course, we own it, so we can go in there. If something needs to be trimmed up and they're not getting to it, we can go in there and do that. We don't have to contact them. So it's a little unique, but I think this is going to be in the best interest of the county moving forward. Staff recommends approval. When they have planning meetings, yes, sir.
Move to consent?
Second.
So the last item was for Tillery Park, Section 1A. This is acceptance of improvements for Tillery Park, Section 1B, for the acceptance of improvements to include the road, storm water, sanitary sewer, and detention ponds. This one does not have an easement agreement as it does not have a planted median. Staff recommends approval.
Move to consent.
Second?
This next item is for additional costs to cover additional costs for LMIG 2021 with Reeves Construction. So typically with these projects, they're paid in unit price. So if we're resurfacing a mile of roadway and it takes another few trucks of asphalt, finish the road. That creates overruns. This is an overrun. We build in contingency in our discretionary funds for this. This is additional funding of $54,902.97 to cover what was constructed on LMIG 2021 Phase 1.
How do you
Phase
verify
A.
that, Kyle? How do you verify that
We-
$54,000?
We count trucks. We have tickets. We measurement and payment. All of that's what we have roadway construction inspectors for. They're counting trucks, collecting tickets, measuring.
Every truck has a weight ticket on it, tells you exactly how many tons of asphalt are in it, and we verify those tons. Pay by the ton, not by the length. That's what we get.
Second.
All right, so the last item we have for your consideration is a waiver of appraisal requirements for the intersection of South Old Bel Air Road and Old Bel Air Lane. We have two parcels in this intersection improvement project that we need to acquire some right-of-way on. Staff has initially assessed the acquisition to be less than $75,000 per our Code of Ordinance, Section 2-452. With the board's approval, staff can negotiate to acquire this land without getting a formal appraisal done. If the board approves this waiver, then staff will go out and negotiate. If they come to an agreement with an option, then that option will still come back to the board for final approval before we make the purchase. Staff recommends approval.
Move to consent.
Second.
Yes, sir. I've included the water utility year-to-date budget report and the water and sewer construction project reports, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
How's the UV water treatment going? Project?
Contractor's struggling a little bit right now with keeping up with personnel and schedules. They're a little behind on getting one of our plants is down, one side of it's down, so they're a little behind, and we're worried about water, so we've made some connections, or gotten our connections ready to buy water from Augusta if need be. So we're prepared just in case, because we don't want to tell anybody around Masters that we don't have water. So so we have that kind of, we've made contingencies, even though they've said they're going to have us back up and running by April 1st, but they haven't given us a lot of confidence in their telling us that. So we just kind of went ahead and gone through the exercise and prepared to be ready.
Contingency plan, are there any penalties in this contract if they fall behind?
There are penalties if they don't make their date, but if they fall behind this, I don't see any penalties. They don't have us back up and running by April 1st. Just the overall contractor's liquidated damages.
Said, hopefully, last time we do the rally, obviously.
Their schedule shows in the spring of next year. I think they have till midsummer, but their schedule's earlier than the contract calls for.
Public comment? Up with great stuff, Titus and very, very, very good information. For,
I make a motion, we just move them on to the full board.
Second.
The mark of efficiency.